Good morning, welcome to Morning Outlook. This is Kim speaking on Friday the 22nd of November. So looking at the euro dollar first, and well, yesterday it was a bit of a reversal day there. Pitched up, new high, looked pretty good for some more further upside at one stage, and then it all went pear-shaped and rolled over. Of course, we've got the new president, ECB President Lagarde speaking, or Lafarge as I'd like to call her for some reason. Lagarde will be speaking at some point this morning. Now, I'm not too sure what time because it's now been moved to tentative and she's speaking this morning. I would, if I was trading the euro, want to be seeing her speak before I started trading the euro. So that puts that one on the brakes for now. However, technically, let's just look bear flag territory then, as it may be from this movement here. Bear flag possibly. If we see a continuation, that'll be just confirming that. May actually even give a target. There was the weekly pivot. If she can really talk the euro down, there's the weekly pivot to target, or even the last week's lows. But let's see, she may all be full of cheer. But either way, I think we could see some volatility, or I'm sure we'll see some volatility when she's talking. It's her first address to and give her sort of personal views of how she sees the euro going. So there we go. That's it on the dailies. It's just come down the time frames, though. You see it's well, it's just expansive sort of wedge effectively on this time frame, which makes it quite difficult in terms of goodness knows where it's going to go from here. It was that bearish engulfing that almost so. On the bigger time frame at the moment, looking at this again, trend lines across the lows here would suggest a break of that would be the break of the near-term flag here at least. Looks bearish. Okay, the pound. The pound hasn't got much in the way of orders sitting around it. I was looking at the orders yesterday. I recorded and I forgot to post it. Today I'll make sure I post it. It's so much better when I record and post. Not a lot in the way of orders really influencing, and we've got some buy orders just above the more recent highs, but not a lot of them. It's patchy, so it's left to its own devices. Still hasn't caught this weekly pivot, and I do wonder if it's with the price action whether it will do. Yesterday it came back, tested that 4 hour 50. Well, if it was to start breaking beyond that, next step might be that weekly pivot. Why can't they just do what they're supposed to do statistically? Anyway, looking from here, okay, statistically it's already caught its daily pivot. That's that one out of the way. And so again, we're sitting here possibly waiting for the address from Lagarde on as well. It may affect both the euro and the pound, so we'll see. I'm sure she may have a 2 penny worth to discuss Brexit, etc. So from an ECB view, of course. Where to, if it does break down, well, maybe just back down towards that 6,200. As I say, I'm certainly wary. There is other data out this morning, I should say, on the euro zone, for the eurozone, which we will see at 8:15 and 8:30. 8:15 we've got the flash services and manufacturing data coming out for France, and then at 8:30 we've got the German manufacturing and services data coming out. And then at 9 o'clock we've got the European numbers, but the first two, 8:15, 8:30, may rock these markets anyway, so just be wary. After that, of course, at some point, or even before that, or during that, we've got Lagarde speaking, and then once at 9:30 we've got the UK data out, so and key data, it's manufacturing and services data coming out. Both coming out? That's unusual, both on the same day, but if they are both coming out on the same day there at 9:30, it's unusual we get manufacturing services out for the UK on the same day, but there we go. We may get a little surprise today. Okay, and then Canadian core retail sales for those that's trading the Canadian data later at 1:30. Right, moving on then from the pound. I've already discovered this looks well, let's put that weakish possible reversal sign in. Let's have a look at the yen. Yen is just really consolidating here. It's not really suggesting money's running into away and into non-risk. Risk is on, and it could continue to the upside. There was mention which may affect the likes of the yen, that the US are considering not putting the next lot of tariffs on, even if the agreement's not completed, or the first level of agreement's not agreed. So there's a sort of easing of the hands around the throat there at the moment. Probably best description of it. Okay, 4 hours, choppy as anything, and when you get it choppy like this, I'm sure we're going to get at some stage a kicker out of it, but where to? Well, maybe to the upside. It's just short of the daily pivot on this at the moment, but if it starts pushing up, it could it looks more to me like it may push up as it sits than down, but it is a bit of a coin throw. Aussie dollar put its first negative data out, and if I can get it in there, on something or other for a long time. I was reading it earlier. What did they report overnight? They reported something overnight, and it was the first Australia's manufacturing PMI contracted for the first time in its survey's history. We put it down to one client in our trading room here. We'll blame Dave for everything, but you can see, as we should, it is looking. It did look prior to this. It's looking like it's sort of bear flagged and it's rolling over. And well, we may see a continuation. Actually, it's quite throughout that data. It's just consolidated and not really done too much at all. Peaked up a little bit prior to that, fell away, and now, well, it's maybe getting ready for the next step down. Okay, that's the Aussie. Put the Canadian data here next. Canadian data, well, that's dailies. It's had been softening. Well, it eased up a little bit, and just actually the way it's sitting at the moment, looks like it might take a little roll over here, but I wouldn't count on it too much. It's when you look at it on the 60-minute here, it's got its daily pivot above it. It looks bearish to the downside, but where's it going to go? I would just leave it personally. There we go. That covered the Canadian dollar. Kiwi, it's in a sort of holding pattern here. It's not managed. Yesterday it tried pushing out the tops there, not succeeding too well. But the overall pattern on my longer term position is looking okay, comfortable on that at the moment. Bit, as I say, bit choppy this week. It's been up and down. Really needs to see if it can push up again. Otherwise, I might be wrong in the short term, but we'll see. But at the moment, slow. It's not an intraday market for me normally, although it had put in some good moves, particularly last week and even earlier this week. It popped in a nice move there, but we'll see. But at the moment, hanging in there positively. Just okay. That is it for me. News wise, I've already covered. Right, have a great day, and I'll catch you on Monday. Bye for now.